Hello, this is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
I've been it's the Black Country Blokes chewing the fat about everything that's mental health, disability, and everything in between. With me, Kev Dillon, and Lee Cadman. And today we're talking about, does the pain ever go away? And I think about this because today is the anniversary. We lost our beloved Thomas Hickenbottom 18 years ago today. He was only 14 years old when he died back in 2003, and it's been 18 years today. And I often think I see on Facebook and all the brothers and the sisters and the family and the Lions family that message out. And I think, will the pain ever go away? And I think when you lose someone so young, you're always thinking about what could have happened, what could they have been. I mean, Thomas had 13 bouts, won 12, but everyone who watched the bout know he shouldn't have lost that one. And whether he'd become the brilliant boxer we all dream of, or whether he'd have been like his brother, Danny Hickenbottom, also a brilliant boxer back in his day, but now he's the father of two beautiful babies. And I often think, where would Tommy be today? And when I look around the gym here at the Lions and I look at the pictures, Robert Rolls and Sam Passy and Ashley Sylvester and so many of the others, and I think they were taken too young. And do you think that, Lee? Does the pain ever go away?
I don't think the pain goes away, but it does get. There's an easing, isn't there? Whereas, you still think about these people, but yeah, the once it goes away, it probably lessens. But you do think about the future that they could have had. I think that's really the upsetting thing, isn't it? If you think too far ahead and what could have been.
I mean, like Thomas Hickenbottom's on our champions wall, and all the champions we have are surrounded. Tommy's surrounded by them, and everyone. I mean, it's amazing how many people weren't even born when Tom died, but they all know his name, Thomas Hickenbottom. He's got the big statue in Brierley Hill, and maybe his legacy goes on for generations. It's almost become like the patron saint of the Lions Boxing Club, and we talk about the Thomas Hickenbottom shovel and how he used to glide around. So even though we lost him very young, he will live on in people's memories, even though they never met him.
Well, that's it, and I think everyone hopes of that, don't they? In the past, at least, or even to your loved ones, at least you're remembered and your legacy carries on as such.
Because I think, like we've talked about this before on numerous shows, about like there's never a right age to lose your mom or your dad because they're still your mommy and daddy. But I think when you get older and your parents or your grandparents get older, it's not easy because you still love them unless they're suffering in pain. And then you want the best for them to be released from the pain. But at least when you're older, you think they've loved, they've lost, they've experienced stuff. But I think when you lose a child, and it was a child or a young person, then you're thinking, I always hope they've sampled as many things as they could in life.
That's it. I obviously we've had Stianzel on, whose brother passed away at 20 years old, and he was my best mate. And I always think to him like a certain thing. He was absolutely car mad, but never got his driving license. Never had that opportunity to get his driving license and things like that. You think, yeah, that's this is something you should have done and you should have experienced. He obviously didn't live long enough to have any children. And he was absolutely mad about kids, and you just when you start thinking about that, it does bring that pain back, doesn't it?
Because my dad always says, because no matter how much you love someone, no matter what you do for them, when you lose them, you feel guilty. Should I have spent more time with him? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? And Alice from Ripple, who unfortunately lost her brother Josh through suicide, and she bravely said, "There's nothing like, there's no pain like losing someone through suicide, because if you lose them for a car accident or cancer or whatever it is, you can blame the car, the virus, the illness. But when you lose someone through suicide, you mourn the person you've lost, but you almost resent them because they've left you with this pain." And I, at the we did a mental health seminar here the other day, and there was a sign put there on a bridge saying, "Suicide does not die with the person; it just the pain gets passed on." And I think that's a lot with suicide. Is a different form of mourning to other ones, isn't it? And I think like when you love someone, and sometimes, and I've been there before with family members, and you see them deteriorate and deteriorate, and when they've got no more capacity to go to the toilet themselves, and you see they're uncomfortable, and then you're thinking, that's when you almost say, I think it's time for them to go. But on the flip side, you think like one of our best friends, Shaggy, who he just died on the settee one day. 1 week after being married, and he just went to sleep and didn't wake up. So some ways you think it's better to go out in a blink of an eye than to have a prolonged death. But on the flip side, when they just go at a blink of an eye, then you feel upset that you haven't got to say your goodbyes.
Well, I think if the death's prolonged as well, you make peace with yourself that's going to happen, don't you? You know, you kind of know what's going to come. You don't know exactly the date, but you're going, okay, you're really not well at this point. You can prepare yourself for that eventuality, whereas when someone's suddenly taken, you don't have that option. It's just a shock straight away, isn't it? And I think you'll find that more within younger people, because you don't expect them to die. Like, once my nan and granddad were at a certain age and starting to get really ill, you were preparing for the eventuality that, you know, within a few months, a year, that they could pass. Whereas, say, with younger people, you don't, unless they have a prolonged illness themselves, which is a lot more rare, then you know, you don't get that chance, do you?
Don't I think, as you rightly said, because when someone, they've got cancer or whatever it is, you can brace yourself saying, I don't know if I've ever said to your dad, but I've been once saying, I love you, or mom, or excuse me. But you can say those final, I've always wanted to say, or I've been meaning to say for the last how many years. But when it's, and this is why I'm a sentimental booker, I'm always telling people I love them. You know what I mean? Like, because, and every time my wife and daughter leave the house, or if I'm living there, so I say, you know, I love you, don't you? And I say to my family and my brothers, like Lee and my boxing family, and I have to tell people on the horrible thought that, you know, something might happen to me or happen to them, and I'd hate for it not have ever been disclosed. And I think us as men don't do that enough. And I think that's when, like, as my dad said, because that's when the guilt comes in, going, well, did Lee realise I appreciate everything he did for me? Or did Paz know that, you know, we've grown up together? Or, you know, and sometimes you can have silly falling out with people, and then they're taken from us, and you think, all it was a soft argument. I never wanted it to last forever, and there's nothing more forever than death, is there?
No, and this what amazed me when you hear of families arguing and falling out and not speaking to each other for years, and I just think, life's too short for that. You don't know when that person's going to go and pass, you know, and what's going to happen in the future. So make peace with it, you know, and hopefully see each other again and get on with it, because you do not know what's going to happen tomorrow.
And that normally happens at someone in the family when he passes or she passes. It's the funeral. Well, I'm entitled to that glass, even though I don't like glass. Or I'm entitled to her earrings, and that's when the vultures come out, isn't it? And I think that I've seen it within my own family, and it's like when you've lost, you're heartbroken because you've lost someone, but then you're heartbroken at how spiteful and vindictive people can become about it. And you're thinking, I mean, it's a gloomy thought, isn't it? But that's why, you know, I've got to get myself a will. And so, you know, but sometimes.
You got anything to give, Kev?
No, the CD collection.
CD collection.
DVD collection.
That no one uses anymore. I'm giving my DVD player to someone else, just in spite.
Or DVD, CD. Yeah, DVD. You lend them out over the years, and then they'll come back. And through the pandemic.
All right, we won't go into that, Kev.
Well, I was thinking, I've collected these for 20 odd years. I went through the pandemic. I was looking through my thing. I was thinking,
set him off.
I've given them all away. That kind of pain I won't get over.
They ain't getting nothing in the will.
And pain comes in many different forms, doesn't it? I mean, naturally, when we think of pain, we think of the loss of someone. Like on today, because I'm thinking about Tommy. But pain can come in loads of different ways, like the pain of a divorce, the pain of losing the pain of losing my job, the pain of being kicked out of a club. Pain can come in many different forms. I was going to do one of my short videos on this because so many people say, I have got a high tolerance for pain. But how do you know? All you know is what you go through. Like your Calla, you know, I mean, has got a high tolerance for pain because like she'll break her rank and she won't whimper. But for people of our capacity, I've got a high tolerance of pain, physical. I've got a high tolerance of mental pain. You know what I mean? And you're going, well, how do you know? Because you can only compare yourself to you.
Yeah, that's right. But it goes back to mental health, because you hear people say all the time that you know, they're mentally strong, and it might just be that they think that because they haven't been through anything that has knocked them for six. Because I would have considered myself quite mentally strong until I hit about 23, 24, you know, and then something comes wrong like depression, suicidal thoughts, and it just wipes out you. And actually, I don't feel that strong at all now. What you do realise is as time goes on and you start healing from those things and life gets better, that actually you are really strong because you went through that period.
And we all know them people, don't we? Are mentally strong. But what has actually happened to you? And then you see other people who have had terrible, terrible upbringings. And we've had different people on this show, and they go, well, I didn't know it was a terrible upbringing. I thought everyone's was like this. So I think strength, like pain, comes with comparison. And a lot of times, because we've got our own blinkers on, we don't stop and go, well, actually, you have got a bell up. Or, you know what? And when you're going through the fight, you haven't got time to often panic, you know, because you're just being hit with it both hands. And it's afterwards you think, I should have fell apart then, or thank goodness I had the family I had. Otherwise, I could have been a broken child.
But it's amazing how we can compare ourselves to other people in so many ways, but you don't tend to do it in that way, do you? You know, you don't tend to do it in mental stuff or your pain barriers. You tend to, look how they look. You know, I want to, you know, that kind of way, like an image way instead of that strength way, and aspiring to be that strong.
Or success. I think of success as in money, jewels, cars, women, instead of after everything you've been through, you're still here. You're still positive. Yes, you'll be down day. That's a real form of success that can't be measured in jewels.
Well, Calla's just the epitome of success to me. I mean, everything she's been through, and the hospital visits, the being on death door, the amount of times we've been told you can't do this, you can't do that, and she just wipes the floor with it and goes ahead and does it anyway. And that to me now, and that changed my perspective, because I thought success was having that car out there and having that bank balance that was big. And luckily I've never been fussed with social media, so having followers has never really been an issue. Couldn't care less, to be quite honest. But
we do know if you've got followers.
Yeah, on this obviously. Personally, not at all. But the only reason we want that is to spread the message and to help more people. Nothing to do with actually having more followers. Because again, I really couldn't care. We just want to get our message out there and get people talking. And I know you feel the same about that. It's not about actually that we've got a load of followers. It's actually we want followers who engage and spread the message. But anyway, going back to success.
I digress.
Yeah, as usual. What are we talking about?
Success and how we balance it. How we value it.
Yeah, but Calla being born and going through her struggles definitely changed my perception of success and what it is and how it changes for other people and how other people see it.
And I think me and you both being daddies, being a good parent, your values do change when you have a child. But then when you've got those things that you've been through of she ain't going to she won't see a second birthday, she'll never walk, she'll never do, and then everything she's doing at Calla's pace, but she's gradually doing what she wants when she wants to do it, is remarkable, successful.
Yeah, it is.
And I've looked when we talked to Blind Dave the other day, and Andy was on here, and different people, and they millionaires. And I have to say that about myself. Will I ever be rich? Probably not. But I'm wealthy in so many different ways because I've got people who care about me. I've got people who respect me, people who listen to me, people who I can help, they can help me. And that's success. It hasn't always got to be on what you're wearing or what you're buying.
It definitely hasn't, and it's not. Look what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Best jumpers ever.
Yeah.
As successful as that, you know.
And you can earn those if you've gone to our website.
We're definitely plugging at the moment, aren't we, Kev? But yeah, it is, and it is, and it does change when you have kids. How you measure success, because I know from my mom growing, you know, my mom bringing us up, success was keeping a roof over our head.
Yeah.
You know,
And
putting food on the table. And that's absolutely fantastic. And she achieved that. And we've all grown up now, and we're all relatively happy. Obviously, we all have our down days and have our tough time, but we're all relatively happy. And that's all at that time. That's all she wanted.
And look, with a parent, once going back to pain, sometimes our parents won't see that as pain. Sometimes you've got to give up your dreams and your goals to be a parent, and you put, as a parent, you put yourself, you put your family in front of you. But for some people, that pill's harder to swallow than others. When, like, I was going to be whatever I was going to be, and then I had children, so I had to put my back burner on there and I had to wait. Or I was going to be an athlete and I had an accident, or I was going to. Pain has many different faces, doesn't it?
Oh, you're right in a sense, but I don't think we ought to. So it goes back to success. We haven't ought to limit ourselves to those beliefs. Why can you not be a parent and still achieve your goals? What, because someone's told you can't? Why can't you do that?
Yeah.
You know, again, with having Kat there, I realised that actually everything is possible. Everything is possible, but you've got to want it more. You've got to want it, basically. And if that is exactly the epitome. So everyone, we've got children now, so all that's going to have to go on the back burner. We can't do any of that. Why not? Why not? It's just about being committed to it and committed to your family at the same time.
But once again, working through that pain. So, okay, I had my children in whatever 20s, and then you can either give up with the dream, which is the pain when you give up, or you can persevere with it for the success. And I think with all pain, you know, we've got to learn from it, and we've got to. I mean, I understand when it's terminal and stuff like that. I'm fully aware, but with like mental pain and physical heart pain and mental pain, we've got to try our best to find a way of dealing with it and getting through it. Otherwise, the pain controls us and we lose the battle.
Well, like, how many people you met during your life that got crushed in childhood?
Yeah.
That didn't even really have a chance in adulthood because that pain overwhelmed them. And they're not able to do what they should have been able to do and have their success because of a bad childhood or whatever's gone on in the past. So yeah, you do need to. But this is where things like, as we've always said, to go and get help, to go and get counselling, hypnotherapy. If anything like that is stopping you moving forward and keeps dragging you back, go and seek help. We had Paul on, didn't we, who wrote the book Struggle Continues, and he had a terrible childhood, and he eventually found the right counsellor and got help, and he's really successful in his own right now.
And sometimes you have pain from abuse, which Paul has been through, and numerous.
We can never say second name, can we? So we avoid that. It's just Paul.
But numerous guests we've had on have had very traumatic childhoods. They've gone on to be successful because they have found the love, the therapy that's helped them get through it. Otherwise, the people can have trauma. It's like with people I grew up with who had visual impairment and disabilities, but sometimes the parents thought they're doing right by doing wrong. They babied them too much, didn't let them go and fail, and they ruined them really because they were too frightened of the real world. They weren't encouraged to try and fail.
I think there's an element there. Look, so we've been to the doctors many times, and in my job, I've gone around many people's houses where you'll be talking to the parents of a child with disability, and they'll basically say, "Oh, they'll never be able to do that."
Yeah.
Okay, well, what makes you say that? And it'll be, "Well, the doctors told us." And I think the doctors and nurses out there do it to give you an expectation, don't they? They don't actually know.
Keep the
Yeah.
bar low, so if you go over it, you're happy.
That's
But
it.
if you set it too high, then you hate the doctor.
Yeah, that kind of situation I think happens, and I think that definitely happens with parents of disabled children. That and there's no malice in doing it. I understand why it's done, but
It's done out of love.
yeah, but I think maybe the tone ought to change to be able to do that. They're gonna have to want to do it and work really hard to be able to do it, instead of going that. Well, no, actually, we was told that Calla would never, if she reached her fourth birthday and couldn't walk, she'd never walk. And then recently, she's been taking unaided steps, and she's 6, so she just waited to do it on her own terms, and that's absolutely fine. But that doctor shouldn't have even said that. It shouldn't have even been a conversation. I understand why it was, but if you're the type of person, if me and my wife were the type of person who lived on every word they said and took that for gospel, would we have encouraged her as much to walk? And the answer would have been probably no.
But that's what we've got to do. Like, if I listened to everything everyone said, I wouldn't be running a boxing club, doing this, being a hometown hero, and all the things I've achieved, traveling on my own, going around the world, doing stuff. It's up to you whether you're going to sit on your bum and take the pain, or whether you're going to get onto your feet and walk forward. Probably take a lot of pain, but keep trying your best. Don't try your best. If I tried to do something, I'll never do it. Do your best. Prepare yourself to fail, because I've failed a lot more times than I've won. But that's why when I have won, it's meant so much. And the other form of thing, another pain, is when your child enjoys the sport for a certain amount of time, and the parents force the child to do it. And eventually, the thing that the child first enjoyed, the parent put the pain on, and then they resent them for them going.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that, and I know you have.
Yeah. The amount of kids we've had in this gym who you can tell aren't interested, but the dad's behind them, pushing them to do it. Is this, it happens all the time, doesn't it, Kev? It happens all the time, and it's wrong. Find what you enjoy and then push them in that direction.
Don't live your life for your child, and because what that will form is a resentment to the parent and a form of trauma, whether it's boxing, football, swimming, whatever it is. It's not just in boxing gyms. But if you're dragging someone there all the time and they don't want to go, it's not building the rapport that we want with our children. That, do you remember when we used to go fishing, Dad? Or do you remember when we used to? It was. Do you remember going there? I do. 4 days a week, and I didn't enjoy one of them, and that puts pain onto people.
Yeah, it does. It does, and I say you got to find what you enjoy and then push in that direction, because we're all different, aren't we?
So next time when we think of ourselves as saying, "I've got a very high pain tolerance," or "I am very," have a think. So what have you actually been through? So it might be mountains, or it might be molehills, but don't be so eager to judge someone when you go, "What have you got to moan about?" My dad used to slap me twice a week, because you don't know what that person's been through. And what some people can go through is hell and back. Other people might be the hamster dying, but to them, that is hell in its own right.
You see like ultra runners who will run 200 miles in 48 hours, like non-stop running, hardly any sleep, and you think, that is going to be painful. You can't, but they manage to do it, so it can't be overwhelmed painful, can it? Because they managed to complete that. Don't get me wrong, no doubt it's painful, but it's not taking them over that limit. So how do we compare to that? We can't.
No,
because we've not run an ultra marathon.
No, as I say, it's very easy to judge, but always remember, you only know what you've been through. Even if you've got your brother, your twin brother, you know what I mean? Even though you might have been through the same things, he has had a different experience, or she has had a different experience to you. So pain is a funny bugger. Anything else you want to say about pain, old Paul?
I think we're all good, mate.
Well, before we go, I want to give a couple of shout outs. First to Adam Davis, who is the councillor of Brierley Hill. He has raised some money for us, and we, through a charity, which I can't remember, we've got a defibrillator now downstairs at the club for all training purposes, and our obviously our mental health groups, which are every Wednesday at the club. 7 till 9. They're free to attend. The only stipulation is you've got to be a man and you've got to be 18 or above. But that's all. So come, be a part of the conversation. The family's growing now. We've got people who are coming every week. We've got some people who only turn up once, and that's enough for them. It's like being at the chiropractor. He clicks you back and you're fine. Some people have to come every other month. Some people are all the time. So no judgment and lots of talking. And did you want to give a shout out to Lee, Andrew?
You're throwing that on me. Cheers. So yeah, we're on LinkedIn now, and we've had an absolutely cracking fella called Andrew Mullaney who has been pushing us and supporting us, getting us some fantastic guests who will be on the radio and the podcast in the coming month. And yeah, we'd just like to thank him really for his work that he's doing for us.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. And if you would like to listen to us on the radio, it's Black Country Extra. So you have to click onto the Black Country radio app, go over to Black Country Extra, and we go live every Thursday at 7 till 9. But you can do the catch up. At the moment, it's only for 1 week at a time, but they're working on it so you can get our old back catalogue. Because honestly, through the 8 weeks this week,
I've lost track.
we've had some great guests, and we are going to continue having great guests on here and on the podcast. So I'm going to leave you with a quote, and it's going to be that quote that that young girl put on the bridge. Suicide, the pain of suicide doesn't die with you. It's just passed on to someone else. So thank you for listening. So until we see each other next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.